Okay, so just jumping into TV here for a bit. Star Trek Discovery
Sure,
season 4 has started, right?
no problem.
The premiere episode dropped. I did not see it. So Ricardo, take it away as someone who has recommended, the show to me, and as someone who watched it and got the point, and absolutely loves it now. Yeah, I just can't wait to hear, just basically where the season starts, right? So yeah, take it away. What do
Right.
we
So
get with this premiere?
yeah, so they start with all right. So the good. Let us get the good out of the way first. I would say it feels more like Justin Lin than JG. More Justin Lin,
Okay,
less
okay,
less JG.
all right.
Um, it's a lot more. It feels a lot more positive. It focuses on this. They're trying to get out of the dark stuff and the dour stuff. Even season 3, even though I like season 3 a lot, it still had a lot of that, and I had kind of some issues with it. The opening sequence felt like Star Trek Beyond's opening sequence, like it had that.
Oh
Um,
wow, okay.
yeah, and then the episode is just a great little like basically it's a kind of referendum on Burnham as a character. A lot of people don't like Burnham as a character simply because she's a bit too much. They have her. The problem with the show is because the show centers all around her, and it's let's just be clear. Discovery never really was an ensemble show. It has been too much of the Michael Burnham show, and I felt that's something
Yeah, I agree.
yeah,
I agree.
and something that they should have dialed back since season 2, like since season 2 or even season 1, where they could have just give us an introduction to Burnham. Yes, the show, centers on Burnham, but it's not too much of Burnham. And this kind of just says, all right, let us do a dialing back referendum that it still focuses on Burnham for the episode because but the point of the episode is to address her. So the new president of the Federation, since they cured this burn nonsense and now well, people now secured in using dilithium now.
Right.
Discovery and them just sharing dilithium all over the place. They're just driving about, they're flying about, and then they're giving people dilithium, right? For everybody who cut themselves off the Federation. And the idea is to join back the Federation. That opening sequence basically was that. And it's just gaining trust and saying we just do this for the sake of the Federation. Good. Loving all of that. Star Trek values. Um, yeah, they have a little small subplot involving Doug Jones. He basically him on camera and he kind of clearly missing Discovery and he want to go back. And they're
Hmm.
playing with all of that. And like the guy who was at the center of the burn last time, I forget the character's name. He kind of telling him, yeah, you don't really owe me anything. Like you're the closest thing. You're the only one who ever had a friend. You're basically like a father to me. But look, if you want to go back, you gotta go back. They basically just running through that basic stuff. The president of the Federation, she decided to go on a mission with Burnham to basically solve some crisis involving a space station that not spinning properly. And then they basically the name of the episode is called the Kobayashi Maru. So if you know what that is, that's a very popular test in Starfleet where you have to basically put yourself in a no-win scenario. It's basically what Star Trek 2 was all about. Kirk was the kind of guy
Right.
who thought he could get away from anything, and he don't believe in the no-win scenario. And then he was literally put in the no-win scenario because of Khan's actions. And
Right. Quick question: was this ever brought up in any previous episode of Discovery? Like I feel like it was
well,
somewhere.
it
Okay.
probably was somebody probably mentioned it. I forget. Like I don't remember the details. It was in the J.J. Abrams film. Like they were taking that test in the first
Yeah,
J.J.
in the
Abrams
first
film.
one, I remember. Yes,
Right,
yes, yes.
right. That is basically what the test was. The same test, and then Cook cheated because that was the whole point. So in Cook cheated in both timelines now. Although in that version it was done in a really dumb and obvious way, but whatever. Uh so basically, the president she's a Cardassian, apparently, if you know what race that is. They kind of a real sus race. Like, basically, it was the Nazi race.
Sorceress.
It was the race that was Nazis, so you kind of don't trust them, and they were really brutal towards the Bajorans. It's a whole story. Yeah, basically, when you get to DS9, you'll learn all of that shit. Um,
One
yeah, and it
day
basically
when I reach that far.
yeah, but yeah, if you reach that far, right? But yeah, it's a lot of that just them setting up this premise, and then because of this, they start to solve the space station problem because the space station was spinning, and it caused some gravitational problem with some gravitational lensing or something like that, and something with gravity playing up and moving about and messing stuff up, and then basically the character from last season book, um, he he gone back to his home planet, and then when he come back, something happened to his planet and you're not sure what went on. And then when they cut back to check what went on, his planet destroyed.
Oh
Along with
shit.
his brother and nephew, which is really sad. And they basically start a new mystery box plot, which I hate. This is the part I hate. Another mystery box. Tired of the shit.
Well,
Guys,
you know,
it have other
if one
ways.
were to binge this season,
Boy,
you have to keep people engaged,
it
right?
have other ways to write Star Trek people. Come on, this mystery box kind of tired of that bullshit. Whatever. Hopefully, I really hope they don't stretch it out. Because the main problem with a mystery box plot is when they stretch it out too long. Does not matter how good the answer is. If that
Right.
shit take too long, I will not care, and I'm not alone in that.
No, I totally agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So talk about a slight controversy in and around this. So I want to say idiots or fools of the head of CBS or the head of Paramount or whoever it is running Star Trek now. They kind of fuck up and went and decided to remove Star Trek from Netflix for all international viewers, and that pissed a lot of people off.
Why though?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Because of the because of Peacock,
Uh,
right?
right. Well, no, not Peacock.
No, not
Paramount
Peacock.
Plus.
No.
Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus, right?
Paramount Plus, right? So they're pushing Paramount Plus, and Paramount Plus will go international sometime next year. I like, dude, overlap that shit now. Are you serious? Like, why deny people for months something? Whatever. It is kind of I operate within the what I call the gray domain of VPNs. I use VPNs so I could get away and utilize stuff where I'm still
Uh-huh.
technically paying for stuff, but like I'm not supposed to be there to pay for the stuff. So, and here's the thing: I think VPN's legal because there's advertising on like all the YouTube channels, so whatever.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is
exactly.
legal,
Right,
goddammit.
exactly. That's why I don't feel no bad, no way how. I'm still paying. You're still getting more money. Shut up. But yeah, I um solid premiere. Solid premiere is fine. It just start with some good Trekkie behavior, a little too much actiony kind of bullshit sometimes. As I said, more Justin Lin, less JJ, but it's still Justin Lin stuff. Like, and Star Trek Beyond is probably my personal favorite of the Kelvin timeline stuff. So yeah, good. Like I want more of that. If you could get more of that, it'll be fine. I have no idea how the rest of the season going to turn out. They had a whole again, back and forth with the president, kind of basically reading Burnham the riot act in terms of how to think about this stuff now because it's peacetime, and they had to think about statecraft, and it had a whole thing about her wanting to become maybe possibly the captain of the USS Voyager, which is a whole callback because in this timeline, well, at this point in time, it's supposed to be the Voyager J or maybe I don't know Voyager K at this point or whatever it is, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's basically it. It's them just setting up Burnham. Kind of, I think Burnham is a character that needs to like dial back. She's a captain, dial her back, and put forward some other characters. They introduce a couple new characters. One new character this season, some guy who replaces I forget the guy's name, but is basically a new black guy on the on the on the bridge. That's it. That's about it. Good. Hype for season 4. I'll watch it. I'm into it. As I said,
All
we
right.
have two Star Trek shows going on right now. This and Prodigy, and both are fine. I'm enjoying it
Yeah.
so far. We'll see with what they're doing with Discovery and how they're gonna make it work. All I'll say is that I just quite annoyed of another mystery box. Like, guys, you really don't need to do this. Just write episodic content. But whatever. I waited for Strange New Worlds to give me my episodic content Trek. So whatever. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's about it. Solid. Yeah.
Okay.
Solid.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So from a season premiere to a series finale, or I should say the final season, let's talk about Supergirl season 6, man. So Supergirl, right? This is a show that we've been following from season 1, episode 1, right? And well, if you don't mind, I'll attempt to do the synopsis for this, right? Because remember we
Sure.
talked about 20 episodes here, right? So yeah, this is the final season here. And similar to Doom Patrol, similar to Flash, this season picks up where this episode here, the premiere clearly was supposed to end the previous season, but
Right.
COVID and right.
Yeah.
So what happens is that again attempted to tell this whole story, right? So Lex Luthor pretty much through some circumstances, I would say, ends up sending Supergirl into the Phantom Zone. And while she's there, she is tormented by the Phantoms. There's even an episode or a subplot, I should say, involving some of the Phantoms escaping from the Phantom Zone and coming into National City and attacking people and all that kind of stuff. So, of course, the rest of the heroes have to figure out ways to stop them. There's even one moment where they literally do some Ghostbusters shit. So this is like Brady's idea. So you literally have to fight them, Ghostbusters style. But anyway, right. So in the Phantom Zone itself, Supergirl runs into two people. So she runs into her dad, who was presumed dead,
Right.
and she also runs into an imp by the name of Nixley, right? And you're hearing about them, and pretty much they trying to escape, and they do escape, right? And there's a really great episode actually with Supergirl's dad, learning about the ways of Earth and all that kind of stuff, right? However, Nixley, because you learn that she was pretty much cast aside by her dad, because he was just a dick basically, and she just wants to be powerful. She just doesn't want to be alone anymore. She doesn't want to be, mistreated basically, right? In a nutshell, right?
Well, so this character is supposed to be like not really like guilt tipsism, but kind of guilt tipsism. Like it's a feat because it's not Mrs. Smith, like right? It's
No. Who
yeah,
who
but
who does show up
who
in a
did show
few,
up, right?
yeah, in a
You know,
couple episodes actually.
yeah, he showed up before. I saw him in the show, but like he in the story, well, in other versions, he had a wife, or it's like basically a girlfriend or like something like that. Guilt tipsism. So I thought it was that character, but it's not. Apparently, somebody else. Like
Okay.
when
I really could have sworn this was like an existing character. I didn't know it was
right.
invented for the sake of the show here.
Well, it probably on what do you call it in thing now. In it probably in the old version, so ever.
Okay, right. But yeah, basically she has plans to, pretty much become powerful, right? And it involves this MacGuffin pretty much called the All Stone, right? And we learn
Right,
through some exposition that it has been split up and, it represents certain human ideals. So it's truth and love
right,
and
right,
courage and all that kind of stuff, right?
right.
And they've assumed themselves into different, items called totems, right? So courage and this, like, I will lie though, this had me cringing though, and yeah, there's some cringy moments in this. I'll tell you about it, where courage is actually literally embodied, sorry, in the actual slingshot that David used to kill Goliath, and it's stored in a museum in National City.
Oh
I
Lord.
like what?
Yeah, okay.
The actual the actual slingshot is encased in a museum in National City. On this serious, my life. On this serious. Come on, right? Symbolism, like, of course, don't make it so heavy-handed there, right? Whatever. Right. So all this is going on, and just when you think that Lex won't come back, he actually does near the end, and you actually learn that he and Nixie hook up. And I mean, given
Right.
who plays Nixie, I honestly don't blame him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so they basically kind of working together to try and stop things,
Yep.
right? So while all
Yep.
this is going on now, Kara is constantly being, trying to juggle her work life with, helping out her super friends. And yes, they literally use the term super
Right.
friends. Like, ah, ha, 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 that's funny, right? Yeah. So we have a little subplots, involving Alex and, well, Kelly, right? The sister of your boy Jimmy Olsen, right? Being a couple and, trying to deal
Yeah.
with being a couple. And it's to the point, slight spoiler, that they get married, and they actually get
Yeah,
married in
that's I saw.
the
I saw
finale,
all of
which
that.
is
Yeah, I
nice.
saw
Yeah.
all of that. Yeah, we saw all of that.
Um.
Yeah, that's the ending.
Yeah. Yeah. We have Nia Nal, aka Dreamer, and her relationship with Brainiac, right? And
Right.
we get this subplot which I felt was going on for far too long, in my opinion, involving the Dream Totem, and this
Right.
thing
Yep.
involving her mom, and
That
you
was
know,
taking too long. Yeah.
yes, it
But
was
they
just
had
a
it.
lot.
They had it last season. They kind of was hinting at it, and then it's like they spent so much time this season on it. I was like, there's like a 2 episode at best. Like,
And it
chill
just
out, Jud.
this went for like 4 5, I believe
Yeah,
it
Jud.
was, right?
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
little ridiculous.
Yeah, you have Lena, and well, basically her arc involves her completely removing herself from the Luther family,
Right.
as far as possible. But if you remember, she was adopted, so she learns who her real mom is, and ironically, her mom is a witch. And
Right.
I say ironically because Lena is like just uber smart when it comes to science and scientific stuff, right? So
Yeah. Right. So
yeah, she's
there's
now incorporating
right.
witchcraft and spells and
So
shit, right?
yeah, because they're clearly trying to do the Doctor Doom thing with her, like seem mysterious, and she's clearly a scientist, but you're not sure where they're going for with it. They kind of squander her arc ultimately, but whatever. It's still fun.
Yeah, I honestly, I felt like it was just kind of pointless. Like we just really didn't know what to do with her, so let's do
Yeah,
this. William Day, who was the this suave reporter who I believe showed up in the last season. He's there as well. He's given actually a really good arc, in terms of actually hooking up with the super friends and learning from them, and yet it still boggles my mind how he still doesn't know that Kara is Supergirl, right?
yeah, God,
Like they
that
literally have
bullshit,
the
huh?
same fucking voice, and he's like,
Yeah,
"Oh, Kara and Supergirl, I just don't know who they are," right?
yeah, that bullshit.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
John Jones, he has a little subplot, but not really all that much. But it
yeah.
involves with another Green Martian, and it's hinted
Right,
that they love. But he
right.
just more or less just there to
Well,
assist. That's what he's there really to do, to
in the
just
last
help
episode,
with everything.
in the last episode they revealed something. I felt they could have fleshed that out, but they revealed something about him and Miss Marshall. Like, oh, okay,
Oh
okay,
yes. I know
right,
you're talking about. Yeah, they
right.
really could have done that, right? And last but not least, because there's just a lot to talk about here, but we have to get to the review itself. Um, Andrea Rojas, right, which is a character I
Right.
actually forgot from the last season.
Yep.
She's given more screen time here because she actually now runs Catco, right?
Yeah.
And one thing though, like I was like real heated on she character way because like I understand her decisions, right? She's just like, all right, well, we really, we need to get our ratings boosted. So
Yep.
let's talk more about the super friends. But she just goes about it in this really
Yeah.
like
Arbitrary.
crass way, just like why do? And she even like utilizes some of her powers sometimes because she have powers too.
Yeah.
But and
That's another problem.
it's
Too much
still
people
like
have
they don't
powers.
really know what to do with that superhero side of her there. But because it's just spent so much time of her being this boss and talking down repeatedly to William and telling him what to do and all that kind of stuff, just like, well, all right, okay. And I guess I'll stop here because it's 20 episodes. There's a lot of stuff going on, right? So what I would say about this season here, right, what I will give credit to for is that despite its overlong season, because this shit should not have been
Way
20
too long.
seasons.
Yeah. Way
Sorry,
too long.
20 episodes though. It was way too much.
Yeah.
It did stick to its stories and
Yeah.
storylines.
Well,
I love how
that's
they
the thing.
were able to connect things, especially like leading up to the end of the series
Yeah,
season
for
stuff. I really appreciate how they did that.
yeah, for all its fluff, it's still stuck to its core. Like, and the core is Kara and her relationship with the world. Like that works.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And it made for like a really like strong team and powerful message. And I
Yeah.
love how they showed it in the final episode, which is basically accepting who you are, right, and not like letting the world get in the way of it, right.
Right.
And like it how it sums it up though, and then when you see it in relation to other characters, and it makes sense, right. Case in point, Nia Nala, the fact that she's a trans woman, right.
Mm.
And she doesn't hide the fact that she is Dreamer and she has these powers and all that kind of stuff, right. Brainiac, right? This is like remember if you remember for the last season, I believe he took out his personality inhibitors, so it was a little it was a little rough getting into the first time, like when the season picks up starts off, but eventually it started to work with him actually being emotional and how erratic he was. At first it was just like, all right, you're just being annoying though, but after a while, I was just like, all right, I understand because a guy who pretty much moves kind of robotic, like thinks robotically now,
Yeah.
experiencing emotions for the first time, like, oh, okay, now I understand where you're coming from. And well, because he acted himself, Jesse Rat, he plays it so well, though. I wouldn't lie, he was great in this though, but just starting off, it was just like, all right, I don't know where this is going, right? So that was nice, right? But you really felt it also too in terms of being open and being true to yourself. With Alex and Kelly, right? And
Right.
their story. You know what I mean? Them being in love. Also, before I forget, Kelly becomes the new guardian.
Right.
She
For a while.
becomes
I
the
saw that.
golden guardian.
Yeah, I saw
I was
that.
like, yeah, this suit look cool
And then, well, because
cool.
I see your boy Jimmy come back too.
Yeah. Jimmy come back in the final episode, and I was thinking, oh, he's always call him Jimmy any bullshit.
Yeah, Jimmy on the bullshit.
Jimmy any bullshit, man.
Jimmy on
But
the
he come true,
bullshit.
he come true, he come true.
Yeah, I see you
I'll
come
give him
back. I
that.
see you come back. Yeah.
Yeah, but that team itself is really, really strong, man. I really dug
Right.
that. Also, just going back to Alex and Kelly, I like the fact that they adopt a kid, cute little girl. She have powers as well too. So and they also touch on, yes, there are still aliens and refugees, I should say, in National City, and they trying to get by and all that kind of stuff. That work, right? I actually liked Nixley as a villain. Well, the actress herself, Peter Sargent, that's her name. I actually
Yeah.
liked her. I thought that she had great screen presence, all that kind of stuff. Though, what I mean? Although I felt like they really dragged this whole. Okay, we have to get this totem. Sorry, that thing. It just felt like redundant. Like it's always about this chase basically to get the next totem, and once they get it, there's a fight scene and people are flying around in wires, and they escape and they get it back, and then they try to get it back, and it was just this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I felt like it stretched out throughout a lot of episodes though. I really dug the idea of Kara feeling scared, we having this PTSD basically about being the father. So I thought that was a great touch too. I
Yeah.
love how it kind of comes back with her seeing, phantoms and all that kind of stuff. That was really good, right? So yeah, I mean, yeah, there's some really like smart calls and writing decisions, all that kind of stuff. I forgot to mention, even with William, I didn't expect what they did with him. They're gonna spoil it, but that moment actually had me like, whoa, like we doing this? Okay, okay, sure, okay, do it, do your thing, do your thing. That was completely unexpected, in my opinion, right? Um, it does still suffer from the silly visual effects though. Like I would
Well,
say,
yeah.
okay, like I
Yeah.
understand a CW budget, I understand majority of anybody going to Superman Lois, I get that, right? But it had times where you kind of look at things like, that not even that not half bad, like. But then they'll just drop something, or they'll just have a shot and just be like, ugh. And you'll just cringe of it, like it might be a monster, or the way how Martian Manhunter looks. Like I always felt like
Yeah.
the way how Martian Manhunter looks awful, right? Especially when you have him talking. But there'll be
Yep.
a point where you might see him fight, or you might see him fly, and it looks awesome. You know what I mean? So it has that, right? And because it embraces this sort of silly lightheartedness to it as well too, it works. It kind of justifies itself, and then mainly because of how humanistic it all is, right? So it does have a lot of heart to it, and you kind of have to, and you do feel it, right? But really, where this season works, and it has been throughout the series as a whole, because I'll give my overall thoughts on the series when I'm done, right? Is the cast themselves, and just the camaraderie they have, right? Just
Yeah.
how they feel, how they act, and the characterization that they're given, right? Even when they're given silly powers, even when they just have powers just because, like Alex, like she's a superhero because show. Kelly is a superhero because show. Andrea's her
Yeah.
powers because
Yeah.
show, right? It's
Way too
like
many characters had
why
powers. Yeah.
why does everybody have to have powers?
Like
Even
I still don't
the
get why
friggin'
Andrea in
leader
this.
have powers now. Like,
Yeah.
well, it's more mystical powers, but still, like,
Yeah.
her too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Enough. Yeah.
It's enough, you know what I mean? But still, because of how likable they are, this is one thing that the CW shows, for the most part, excel at, right? They excel at making characters likable, right? Even with Flash, even though season 7 was trash, right? You still like the characters, right? And of course, with this one, you like Melissa Benoist, you love Kyla Lee, you love these actors and what they bring to the screen, and just how they make you feel when you see them, and what they go through and how they overcome it as well too. So I would say, despite its overlong run, though, this was still a really impressive way to end the series off. Man, I was really, but really for me, what was impressive the most was just, even with all these subplots about phantoms and totems and all these other things, and going through tests to prove how courageous you are, and all these things, because yeah, they do this sort of like video game like thing where you have to prove your worth every time you acquire a totem and all that kind of stuff, right? They still manage to kind of connect to the overarching themes, and the core story. They was able to do that fairly well, man. I was really impressed by that, man. But yeah, Ricardo, if you have anything to weigh on the season here, yeah, take it away.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, as I say, nothing. Yeah. You kind of cover everything. I just um was really impressed with it in a sense of just wrapping up itself and where it goes for Kara's character, because they keep the focus again. It was a set of
Yeah.
bullshit, a set of fluff, a set of
Yeah.
goofiness. But
Let it
the
go for
secret,
this.
yeah, but the secret to the show has always been that, right? The humanistic elements of it, you know, you have all of this goofiness going on the side, but then they'll come back to something very core and thematic and workable. And what they do with Kara ultimately I really liked, where she just kind of had to come to terms with her relationship with the world, what it is to be Supergirl, and then the finale with they bring back Cat Grant, right? Like,
Yes. I
yeah,
thought
okay.
that was great, and
Yeah, yeah,
I love the fact that there wasn't just one scene, but we got
yeah.
another scene where
Right.
the question is, okay, will you help me out and stuff like that. So I
Right,
love that. I love
exactly,
that.
and what they do with it is really good. I enjoyed it for what it is. Yeah, I can't be mad with any of this. Yeah, it's it is a solid finale. Yeah, it's a little too long, admittedly, but it is pretty good for what it is. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and before I forget, just before I get to read it though, I actually thought that the wedding, which by the way Facebook spoiled for me unfortunately, and it's actually the official Supergirl page spoiled it. Huh?
But the thing is our wedding. My thing is our wedding, and it only
I
had
know.
one wedding that could have happened. Like what somebody else was going to get married. Who's going? It only had two characters who could have get married. It had two couples who could have get married, and it had one was a more stable couple. That's it. So I was like, well, it's obviously one wedding. We know what it is.
Yeah. Agreed. And I glanced at it, but like once I saw the picture, I just glanced at it, but I was like, yeah, I know who it is, right? But that moment was lovely actually. I will say, and if you're a fan, if you're a diehard fan, you'll love it, right? And if you want to talk about first, well, I guess this is like the first where we see a same-sex superhero couple get married. I guess if you want to talk about milestones, I guess you could say is that. Well, I don't know, whatever.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it was a nice moment. I really dug where where it went from there. Also, so I didn't expect to see. I really thought like how they wrapped up Brainiac and Dreamer's relationship. I thought that was really nice as well too,
Right.
especially what they gave with him. Having given the decision to go back to the 21st century because of reasons, but it's like no, I love Nia. You know what I mean? So that was lovely. That was really lovely, right? So as a whole, season wise, I will give this strong treat, like 3.5 out of 5, man. It's good. It's good for what it is, man. But once again, it just still suffers from just this bloated, season run, which has always been the problem with the series from season one.
Since
These
season one, yeah,
overlong seasons, like why
yeah,
20 episodes, bro?
yeah. Too
I
much
can
bullshit.
understand. You want it's a CW thing. You want to do it like Smallville or Supernatural. I mean? The more episodes you have, the better. But sometimes less is more there. I mean? Less is more. Just see it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Same
But
here.
yeah, but just to talk quickly about the overall season though. Sorry, the overall series. This is a bright spot in the Arrowverse, man. I would say
Right.
because of how relatively lightweight and positive and humanistic it all is, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, what better character to embody that Supergirl as well too? I mean, Melissa though she is Supergirl in my opinion. I mean, who's the actress who played Supergirl in the movie
I forget.
that I never watched because I heard it sucked? Yeah. Sorry. So yeah, Melissa to me is Supergirl. She will always be that in my opinion. Though I don't think anybody else could fill her shoes. As far as seeing her again in other CW shows, I think it is possible because I mean, look, Black Lightning ended months ago, and yet he showed up in this
Yeah, he's still showing up in
stock
shit, huh?
in this oh gosh, this
Yeah, crossover.
a
New
crossover
crossover.
event in Flash, which I
Yeah.
actually want
How?
to see and review. Eh?
Yeah.
No, but well, they had explained that shit, but I haven't even started watching that, right? And I get burned with season 7 of Flash, right? Whatever, right?
Right.
But at least with Supergirl compared to Flash, at least it knows what the story is about and it stays focused, even though it goes in all these different directions. And but I do appreciate the fact that it gives characters a lot of moments and well, yeah, just a lot of moments and scenarios and stuff like that. Especially with the character of Dreamer, right? A character I didn't expect to see it. I mean, another milestone, I guess. First transgender superhero, so that's a big
Right.
thing. And the actress herself, Nicole Means, I would love to see her. I mean, I just want to see her do great things going forward, man. What I mean,
Right.
just in the acting career, she was great, right? And yeah, everybody else I thought was great for the most part, from Kyla Lee, Katie McGrath, even David Harewood. I thought that he was great as John
Yeah.
Jones. He was just so
Yeah.
likable as that, right?
Mm.
Um, John Cryer as Lex Luthor. I thought he's
Yeah.
like he's not the best Lex Luthor out there, like no, but as far as Lex Luthor, yeah, he killed her. I like how
Right.
swabby and real arsehole she was. But you could tell he's drawn a lot from the Gene Hackman, Lex Luthor in particular, right?
Yeah.
Especially with his relationship with Otis, right? So I really dug that. And of course, Eve Tessmacher, right? So yeah. But yeah, you mean as far as it's team and it's team, sorry, and messages of hope and just working together and all that kind of stuff. It works. You know what I mean? For somebody as cynical as me, I mean, this you need shows like this, right? I appreciate shows that could be brave enough to say, yeah, this is what we're gonna be. Sure, it looks silly on the outside, you know what I mean? Especially when you're fighting big gigantic creatures like as Power Rangers or whatnot, but you still love the characters regardless of that, right? So yeah. So I would say as a whole, just the show itself, I would give like 4 to 5, man. I think that
Right.
this is one of the jewels in the Arrowverse thus far, man.
Right.
But I would love to see these characters appear again, not just in films or TV shows, but in the Arrowverse as well. You know what I mean? Like
Well,
squeeze them somewhere
they had a,
in Legends or something. I
they
don't
had a
know.
sort of they had to sort of wrap up this Arrowverse and like sort of go more the direction of the Superman show. So
Yeah,
well,
Superman Lois. Yeah,
yeah.
agreed. Yeah. But yeah, Ricardo, if you just have any quick thoughts on the series as a whole.
Yeah, as a whole, it was very hit and miss for me personally, but I really dug it for what it is and had some high points in it as a series. But I can't say it was a bad thing or a mess or anything like that. It's great show. It have some problems with it here or there, but it worked for the most part. Didn't love it as much as say Legends of Tomorrow or anything like that, but
Oh
still,
no.
yeah,
Like Legends is better, but
yeah.
because of the whole free cell approach to
Right,
things,
exactly.
that's how it
And
works
then
for the
one big factor, I'll fully concede that the one big factor I really like watch a show much more and was really dogging on it is because the DCU was such a hot mess now. And it
yes.
was just like in the dumps. And I was like, all right, well, this is the only good DC material I have until basically Doom Patrol, like for a hot minute. So, and by then I got invested in the show, so it's like, all right, cool.
Right. So if you want to give a rating or
Yeah, overall for Supergirl, yeah,
yeah.
7 out of 10. Yeah, for me, I never thought it was about that bad of a show or anything like that, but it's one of the shows that can already sit down and just make the writing a little more clear and coherent. But whatever, Superman, it's Golden Age Superman, so you expect goofiness anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah. And last thing, last though, I would imagine if I was younger and I saw this on TV, you know what I mean, along with the Flash and maybe not so much the Arrows, but the more flashier, lighter um Arrowverse shows, I would have vibed with this. I would have really enjoyed this though, you know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? So yes, it will have its diehard fans, and I would say if you haven't checked it out, give at least a season or two a look, man. You know what I mean? But if you just find it's just too silly and just too lighthearted, then it teaches all right. But yeah, as I said before, I think this is a jewel in the Arrowverse. I think the closest we'll get to that going forward would be Superman Lois. Not so much Flash, but real talk though, Flash needs to end. So like right now, right, I believe if I'm not mistaken, 3 Arrowverse shoes have come to an end. Sorry,
Yeah.
that would be Arrow, Black Lightning, and Supergirl, right? So Legends had a wrap up. I would confess, Legends had a wrap up, but
Yeah.
Flash in particular, oh my god, that shit needs to end though. I don't know
Yeah.
if it'll be with season 8, boy, but that has to wrap up. God forbid if it goes to like 10 seasons
Nah,
like
they
Smallville, right?
Smallville, yeah, they're gonna do Smallville.
No, but
They're gonna get
why
a
do like
gang got
we
yeah.
like we don't love the Flash that much. Like
Yeah, well,
to be real, we don't love the Flash that much. Come on, as
yeah,
a character, that's what I mean. As a character and on screen, like oh gosh, man, come on.
yeah, well, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, once I'm ratings stay up, they'll milk you.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it has its fans. I mean, the fan base is stronger, but
Yeah.
still, at a point in time, the fan base had to be like, I even imagine right now, be like, all right, let me just wrap it up. Let me see somebody new, please. So, yeah, we'll see in due time, man.
Yeah.